My mom gave me this because she can't stop eating them and wants them out of her house. So, shall we enjoy a Twizzy? Twizzy! Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. Today I'm going to be talking about Avengers Infinity War. I cannot believe I'm at Avengers Infinity War. This is weird. Remember when I used to cover movies from the 60s? What the heck? Avengers Infinity War is a 2018 theatrical release about all the Marvel heroes coming together and trying to stop Thanos from getting all the Infinity Stones and completing his, destiny or whatever. It's directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, cinematography by Trent Opaloch, editing by Jeffrey Ford and Matthew Schmidt, music by Alan Silvestri, and it's written by Christopher Markus and Stephen McFeely. Please don't make me do this. Every person in this movie, besides, a couple of the villains, besides Thanos, are, the main stars of the film, right? Don't make me list, 30 people, okay? I'll list quite a few in the description, but it stars, this is, one of those movies, right? I know it'll be talked about for eons to come, but the star power in this movie is actually insane because everybody is a major star because they all had their own movies coming together. So it's, insane. Absolutely bonkers. In 2019, it was announced that there would be a two-part sequel to Age of Ultron, Infinity War Part 1 and 2, based on the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity comic. Russo said that it was inspired by 1990s heist films. To dispel confusion, they ended up just doing Infinity War, and then they were going to rename the next one, saying they are two separate movies and not a continuation of each other, even though they are a continuation of each other, but that's fine. Filming began January of 2017. They filmed on RE Alexa IMAX. It was the first film to be done entirely in IMAX cameras. There were 9 plus VFX companies that worked. Industrial Light and Magic was leading that. Had a $325 to $400 million budget and made $2.052 billion in the box office. You guys, crazy. One of the most expensive films ever made. One of the most successful films ever. I know Endgame outdoes it eventually, but this was up there competing with Avatar and all those. Has an 85% Rotten Tomatoes consensus. Avengers Infinity War ably juggles a dizzying array of MCU heroes in the fight against their gravest threats yet, and the result is a thrilling, emotionally resonant blockbuster that mostly realizes its gargantuan ambitions. It was nominated for Best Effects and didn't win, and Endgame was released in 2019. The cinematography was great. Trent Opaloch now has done quite a few that are really wonderful. It being entirely in IMAX cameras, I do think messed with some of the shots they were going for. Some people's faces looked a bit warped at certain scenes for me, and some of the green screen seemed really obvious compared to other films, but it still obviously looked really great, had a lot of great movement, no real complaints other than a couple green screen moments and stuff like that. I think this movie is as good as it is because of the editors. I think the editors deserve all of the credit here. I know the writers probably did a fantastic job as well, but the editors, what a fantastically balanced film. To balance this much star power and this many main characters and this many storylines all happening at once coming together, an absolute feat that they should be endlessly proud of. I know we'll get there, but I don't think even Endgame does it as good as this film does it, because that film, a lot of the people are gone for a good chunk of it because they have to undo the snap, and so that film didn't have nearly as much balancing act that had to be done as this film does, and that film is 3 hours. This film is 2.5. This film in 2.5 hours balances easily 30 plus important characters. Maybe not 30. Feels like it, though. Maybe 20. Plus, you got Doctor Strange, you got Tony Stark, you got Spider-Man, you got Bucky, you got Captain America, the OG Avengers, Hulk, and Bruce, and Vision, and... I almost said Elizabeth. Why can't I think... Natasha, no. Why can't I think of her name? Wanda, jeez. Wanda, you got just these Black Panther and Wakanda, and You've got all of these characters, all of the Guardians of the Galaxy characters, basically. Like, you've got all of these characters coming together, and the balance is incredible. And who ends up with who is incredible. And bouncing back and forth on what each person is doing with Doctor Strange, Iron Man, a couple of the Guardians, and all of them dealing, going to Titan and dealing with that. Then you've got the other of the Guardians and Thor going to get Thor his axe. And then you've got all some of the OG Avengers and on Earth and Wakanda. Like, you got Gamora ending up with Thanos. You got, like, there's just so much balancing that's happening here that is so well done. And I know the writers had to write it in a certain way, but the way it was fully accomplished were the editors. And I think the editors deserve all of the credit. This is a masterpiece of balancing that many characters without it feeling like someone's particularly favored, or what happened to this storyline, or what about this character. Like, it felt so perfectly balanced. Perfectly balanced, of course. Thanos would love it. That's how you feel about the movie. It is effective. It tells the story. It feels like it's moving constantly. I feel like I never go, oh, I wonder what they're doing. They bounce back to whatever is happening with which characters at appropriate times, that I never feel lost. I never feel like we didn't check in on someone soon enough to know what's going on. Genuinely, they deserve all of the credit. Jeffrey Ford and Matthew Schmidt, this is a masterpiece when it comes to editing. Absolutely incredible. I could not rave about this enough if I tried. Personally, I don't think the score stands out, save for a few Avengers theme stings, like, when you first get to see Captain America, that music sting stands out because it's the original Avengers theme. When Thor shows up, I really feel it's a missed opportunity to have the Immigrant Song play again, because that's a huge moment for Thor. He's got Stormbreaker, he's got a new outfit, it's a really big moment, and it's really great, and I feel like the score didn't stand out as much as it could have, which isn't a bad thing. Like, it didn't take me away or take me out of the story at all, but I also feel like it didn't force me to feel anything particular. Where do I begin? I hate to sound like Thanos and a broken record and say it's perfectly balanced. This movie, I think, handles the seriousness and gravity of what's happening, and also still has that quintessential Marvel humor so well. I also think it's super refreshing to have a hero movie end with them losing. It's really sad, and I hate it, and I want them to win, and thank goodness they do, but eventually, to have them lose and have this actually happen, the whole time you're thinking they're gonna stop them. There's no way people are actually gonna get snapped out of existence. To have that happen, what a brave choice for a huge franchise. Absolutely incredible. There are some I might not agree with. For instance, in the beginning, killing Heimdall right away, a fantastic choice. Heart-shattering. But appropriately so, because you need to establish, Thanos has been cold-blooded this whole time, not everybody can survive, right? Okay, so Heimdall, fine. Killing Loki immediately after that, not my favorite choice. I get it. I understand why they did it. I suppose. But I do think killing Heimdall and then immediately killing Loki instead of, another character felt really unnecessary. I feel like they could have killed somebody else, but to kill Loki was really interesting. I think that's a choice I don't necessarily agree with. That might be one of the real deaths I don't agree with. But otherwise, throughout, the balance of who's getting tortured, who's getting killed, all of that is really good. And then the humor sprinkled in, still having that, Marvel humor charm is really great. I have lots of favorites, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards. You speak Groot, yes. They taught it on Asgard. It was an elective. That's just really funny. I'll do you one better. Why's Gamora? That whole scene, where's Gamora? I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora? I'll do you one better. Why's Gamora? Usually I'll blast him. Well, let me ask you this one time. What master do you serve? What master do you serve? What am I supposed to say? Jesus? You're from Earth. No, I'm from Missouri. Yeah, that's on Earth, dipshit. Like, it's just so good. So many quotable moments. We do have a parent death. Technically, Gamora's mother is said to be killed in this movie. So we finally, you know, have that. And Gamora is the main character. And so that is a parent death. I also cried because how do you not cry when Peter is saying, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. Brutal, especially after he just saved all of them and brought them all together. Oh my god, heart-shattering, heart-shattering. And then I also continued, like, the tears fell again then when Nat runs up and sees Captain on the ground with the destroyed Vision. Oh my god, so heart-shattering. This is just, this is the best Marvel movie. Like, it just is. The balance of it, the stakes of it, the storytelling all happening in the balance and the humor and the sadness and the, you know, like, it's just so perfect for what it is. And I don't think, I know people love Endgame, and I do love Endgame. I mean, that whole final battle sequence deserves, you know, its day in the sun, but there's other parts of Endgame that I just don't think compare to how good this is at balancing and being what it is. So truly, absolutely incredible. Just wow. My favorite part is hard to choose. The what master do you serve scene always gets me. It's one of my favorite parts of this movie. Thor showing up after finishing the Stormbreaker axe and, like, saving everybody that was fighting all those creatures. Hulk struggling the whole movie, like Bruce struggling the whole movie because he feels embarrassed that he got beat by Thanos. Just really, like, it's hard to pick a favorite part. Least favorite part is probably how sad it is, but also maybe the warping of their faces because it was shot entirely in IMAX, and also maybe Peter Quill being the reason that, like, they kind of fail at defeating Thanos multiple times. The Reality Stone moment, like, his hesitation and everything could be argued that there's a reason why. But then, like, Tony, Peter, Doctor Strange, Mantis Drax, all of them almost have the gauntlet off of Thanos. Like, they almost get it on Titan, and then it's Peter Quill who starts punching him because he's so upset about Gamora that they don't defeat Thanos right there in that moment. And that's kind of sad and kind of like, but the movie goes on to be, you know, really good, and that would have been sad, blah, blah, blah. So I think maybe just how sad it is, but also the warping of the faces with the IMAX. Recommend, of course, but I definitely wouldn't watch it if you hadn't seen all the Marvel movies leading up to it, because this is very much tangential. It's dependent on all the other movies. So I definitely would watch all of those first, and then watch again. I'm sure I will. I will say, going into watching this, I didn't really feel like it. I was like, I don't know if I'm, like, in the zone for this. But then by the end, I was glad I watched it because it is just a really good movie. So yeah, I have really nothing else to say. I'm excited to watch. I think there's 2 between this and Endgame. I think isn't it Captain Marvel and then Ant-Man and the Wasp? Aren't those 2 between this and Endgame? So I'm excited to get to Endgame as well, though, because I haven't seen that since the theaters, and I'm excited to see the final battle sequence and everything, because that's really hype and really great, but I'm not excited for how long it is. But that's it. Okay, that's everything I have. My final rating is gonna be 9. I feel like I have to do Infinity Stones, even though I'm pretty sure I have done that before. But, like, I have to. 9 Infinity Stones out of 10, even though there aren't 9, but that's fine. 9 Infinity Stones out of 10. Our total movie count is. Our parent death toll is. Our cry count is. Our cry count is. If you want to keep up with what movie I'm watching when, follow me on all socials to find out movie I'm watching when. I put out videos every Monday and Friday and sometimes Wednesday. Week of Guests is slowly approaching. Happy Celebration Month. Join Patreon. Got a tier starting at just $1. Every video a week early. Tiers with that, daily trivia, monthly postcards, bonus content. Go check it out. Lots of stuff going on, hopefully, for this month. Up there, buy merch. Again, there is new merch. It's super cute. Go buy it. It is adorable, and I'm obsessed with it. So please, go check it out. Also, it's a new company, so it's faster, higher quality, etc. Please go check it out. Enter the giveaway. Enjoy Celebration Month. Until next time, comment, like, subscribe, but I'm not in charge of your life. You are Studio, and don't be Thanos about it. Aubrey killed me, and he was like, why does Thanos have to snap half of the universe out of existence, and why can't he just double all of the resources so then all the people can keep living?